Can I ask a question? You sort of touched upon this at the very beginning of this show, but it just is a part of your story that I'm curious about that probably will lend a little bit more context to you growing up with your disability. But you said that you became blind when you were 5 as a part of what was happening with your brain cancer. So you were diagnosed with
Yes.
a pediatric type of a brain cancer. Is that what was going on?
Right, right. So at the age of 5, I was diagnosed with an astrocytoma. So the tumor was in the center of the brain and had it actually grown to fill most of the cavity. And so I went into emergency surgery at the age of 5. So I had a full craniotomy. And I don't know if yeah, you can kind of see it, but the scar goes from one ear all the way to the other. And I'm sure you can only imagine. And at the time, I was so young and didn't know what was happening. And as I got older, my mom said, "Do you want to know what they did?" And she explained it to me, and I thought, sounds like it's right out of a horror movie. And so it was attached to my hypothalamus, optic nerves, and pituitary glands. So it messed up a lot of things, took away my vision. I'm actually in remission. So
Okay.
I have been for 20 years. And
Hey.
yeah,
Great.
like it is great. And they couldn't take the rest out, or else I would have been 100% blind because it's attached to my optic nerves.
Oh, so they
Um,
knew that going in, they knew that they were gonna
yes,
leave you partially blind. Got it, got it.
yes, and it was a tough decision, right? Because the surgeon either makes the decision, okay, we're going to remove all of it, or we're going to remove part of it. And then shortly after, I had 64 weeks of chemotherapy.
64 weeks. Oh my god, at 5 years old. Holy
Yeah,
moly. How did they find it? Were you having, like, wonky symptoms or
yeah. Another great question. So I was so young, so I wasn't able to actually voice what was happening. Right? You're
Sure.
not able to. So when you lay down, the pressure is more, I guess, is worse on the brain when you're lying down, and then when you get up, it's better because the pressure goes away. And then I was throwing up a lot, and I was taken to the doctors, and they were like, "She has the flu or she has a cold." And my mom was like, "She doesn't have a temperature, so this is really weird." Back and forth. Long story short, she ended up taking me to Children's Hospital, and then they did an X-ray, and then they said the tumor is filling the entire cavity. We need to do emergency surgery. Please call family, loved ones, because we're not sure if she's gonna make it.
Oh, for God's sake.
It's pretty hard for a mom to hear. I was like, "Oh, that's it's tough, right?"
Yeah.
And yeah, call my brother and sister, call my dad, call people now because we're gonna put her under, and then do what we can. And I was really lucky, I have to say.
Yeah, and
Uh,
good on your mom too, because that is for what it's worth, toddlers throw up all the time, and you're kinda just, "Meh, what's going on? What germs are
Right.
coming home today?" Or,
yeah,
"What did they eat?" Or whatever, and so that's terrifying. Holy
yeah,
moly, from every
Well,
angle and from what you went through.
yeah,
what's your
totally.
family think about this CrossFit journey you're on?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, full support. I think it's amazing. Sometimes I almost can't believe how far I've gotten. So in 2021, I think it was 6 brain surgeries
What?
in 2021, and I I don't know how I do it. People say it's resilience, some people say it's determination, some people say it's strength, and I'm like, yeah, I just want to get back. My first question after all of my surgeries was, when they're like, "Do you have any questions about anything?" Yeah, when can I get back to CrossFit? Like, when can I get
Ah,
back training? Right? And so my brother and sister have always been there, full support, 100%. They are so proud. Again, they show so much support, and they're all for it.
And I'm convinced women are just infinitely stronger than men. I
there's
ripped I ripped my hands the other day doing pull-ups. I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm done for a week." Like,
Oh
no,
man.
no more workouts for me, and you're having surgeries, and then you're right back at it. So
Oh
that's
my god.
it's amazing.
For
It-
sure, and that was, like Sarah, that was not long ago. To have 6 surgeries in 1 year anywhere, let alone on your brain, and then not 2 years later, stand on the podium. I mean, this is like people heal from this stuff for a lifetime, and you're like,
Yeah.
I should probably get back to training." It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's wild.
And it's so funny because people are like, how do you do that? And what do you do? Do you have some sort of therapy? And I'm like, the only therapy is up here and in here, right? So you have to have a really strong heart because your mind is very powerful and it will tell you things and it will tell you not to do things. And you can choose whether to listen to your head or your heart. And for me, it's my goal is to inspire those to be motivated. So if you're feeling tired or if you're having a bad day or if you are living with any sort of disability, I encourage you. And it's funny because I watch CrossFit's reels that they post of whoever talking, whether it's Greg or somebody else or just inspiring people. And they talk about inclusion and about never giving up. And I'm like, oh, I hear you. I've lived it.
Yeah. And how do you feel knowing that now you truly are one of those figureheads for others, specifically other adaptive athletes? Like you're that person now that they see and can be like, "Oh, she could do it, I could do it," or "She's not giving up. I should head to the gym and train today." That's you now. It's you.
Right, right. Yeah, it, it's amazing. And it's so funny that you asked that because I did meet a bunch of athletes and I was so fortunate to meet them and they were like, "Oh my gosh, we see your medal." Like, right? It's a big clunky heavy thing around your neck and oh, it, you're going up to them and saying, "Oh, can I get a picture with you?" And me forgetting that I'm the athlete, right? And so it is very humbling. And actually, a little girl came up to me and asked for my signature and asked for a picture. And,
Oh.
I am happy to do those things. I am happy to again inspire those to be motivated to keep going and push through whatever you think
Yeah.
you're going through. Yeah, it's difficult.